Hello guys, and today I'm gonna be showing you where to get the best economic news release calendar. And as per most traders use these calendars to get ahead of their trends and also to capture big movements in the markets and also to predict where and how to buy and sell. So there are very many sources of economic news calendars that I've seen about from different sources, from different websites, from different government websites. But it's kind of creepy, there's a way they bring their views and they are not understandable or they are even fixed, and there's no way you can differentiate which news release is out and the time. Yes, they are included, but most times they are not easily noticeable and they are very disorganized, and you end up not realizing they release very fast. And as you know, as a news trader, you must be able to have something like a very good view like this, where you see the date, the impacts, of course, well indicated, whether it's high impact, low impact, or medium impact, actual release for that day, then the forecast, with the consensus, then the previous values of course the release, then the details about the release. Once you click on this icon, it takes you to the details of the release, and therefore you can see everything clearly with the species and also the time at which you're going to be receiving the news. You can, and then above it all, you can also change the of course the time zones in which you are, such that you can really monitor news that are very important. You can also filter for the impact, high, low, or medium, and you can also filter the countries and also of course the trading sessions, where we have the Tokyo, Australia, of course Sydney, and then London, then New York, and all that. So that said, as you know that an economic calendar is actually just a table or a resource that allows traders to learn more about upcoming news events. So you can see it's kind of a financial market event announcement board across the world, and it shows the events and updated automatically upon the releases, of course, of news data. So no matter what time frame you're trading in, probably 2 hour, 15, 1 hour, name it, one day, it's very important to keep an open eye on an upcoming calendar events daily, since they are likely to impact the financial markets, including forex, stocks, bonds, and all those commodities, name it. So once you have anything to deal with forex trading, now buying, selling, you can use this economic calendar to compare the economies behind each currency, and of course events on the calendar, they are also graded in just like I said before, a criteria, or we have a criteria of impact, or we have news releases that have big impacts on the market, big moves in the market. You can see big moves even up to probably thousands of pips, 500 pips. So we really name them, grade them on these calendars depending on the impact on the market. So we have essentially two categories: the low, medium, and high, of course, categories. So low, they have low impact, and actually most traders are not interested in those. Medium, they have little or some more or medium impact in the market, so they can see some movement in the market. And of course the high end, which is the high impact, and of course most of the traders are interested in the high impact news releases, and so they take note of these releases like the NFPs, PMIs, FOMC, Fed news release, bank rates, financial, World Bank, and then interest rates and also inflation rates. So they're kind of key news releases that have high impact, and therefore you must be in sync with this. So depending on the likely degree of the market, of course. So even if you're not a news trader or trading news, you should always check on the economic calendar every day on the morning, at least before you start the day, and once again at the end of the day, just to make sure that you're aware of any high impacts or major events scheduled for the next day. So of course, as you know, high impact events may cause volatility in the market, and especially if they find you on the wrong side, they probably wipe our account or big losses that you can't even recover. So at that time, you have some increased market volatility, and it is important to remember that trading around all those news events can result to very big significant slippage. So of course, I will be bringing a new tutorial to explain how to use the economic news calendar to of course to your advantage and make big profits, and of course also the negatives and the positives of it, but most importantly the positives, because people who use the calendars make immense profits. So you have to be sure that you risk your management, also avoid over leveraging and over exposure, and don't do the same mistakes other traders do, so therefore you can trade the news as successful. So I'll be bringing up of course in more tutorials to talk about news trading, and I will be teaching you a strategy and learning how to trade news successfully, because they are the biggest market movements where you can make vast amounts of money, and you don't have to struggle with movements. So that said, as I told you, now let me just go ahead and show you one of the best sources of economic news calendars that I use personally. So personally, I use Baby Pips as my source. I learn Forex. So here we have the calendar, and they have the best calendar that I've ever seen, best economic calendar so far, and it's actually free. Not all calendars are free. Yes, you can you're free to see the data, but the APIs are not free. You have to buy the API. So with this calendar, we have economic calendar. Baby Pips economic calendar is your trading companion to avoid event risks. Event risks is anything that will move the markets, but that you can see coming, blah 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 blah. So let me get pass through very quick to show you how it works. So they simplify the news for us in yesterday news, the news for the past day, today news, the news for today, tomorrow what you're going to be having tomorrow. Then you have last week. You can decide to check on news for last week or this week and see what is transparent right from Monday up to Friday, or next week what you're heading to. Then you can go ahead to change the GMT or the time, of course the time periods that you're working in. You make sure you choose the time interval you're in. I mean, you can call it probably in your time zone. Yeah, you can call it time zone. I think it's the most appropriate word to use here. Your time zone. My time zone is Moscow. You can also change into either a weekly analysis or daily analysis, but right now then most importantly it has a filter, the one that I've been really telling you about. You can first of all click that remember my filters. Whatever you're going to be doing here can be remembered. So you choose which currencies to monitor, which news to display. The one that have tick are the news that are going to be displaying. Then the impact, you can choose the impact, low impact, medium, and high. So you can therefore just remove medium. Most traders prefer having only high impact news. Sessions, you can choose. You remember have 4 main domain forex sessions: the Sydney, Australia, Tokyo, Japan, London, of course, and then New York. So you can choose which sessions you want. Of course, most traders also prefer London and New York because they have the biggest movements, the biggest monies, and of course most of the traders are actually around. Almost 99% of the traders trade in London sessions. So after all this, taking your filters, then you have to click remember my filters. Make sure it's ticked, and so for next time you can just come along and just look at filters. So these are the news releases we have. Before we dive in, let's look at this. You can choose for today or for tomorrow. For example, today is December 15th. We have a news release that has just happened. The official bank rates are here. So on top of the news, as I've said, you have 3 categories of filtering: impact, actual, forecast, previous, and then the details. So within the news, you have the time of the release, which is 1500 hours, the name of the news, DBP official bank rate, and the impact, which is high according to our filter, and of course the actual that has just been released, which is 3.5% rate, and the forecast, or what we call the consensus, which is 3.5 also percent. Then The previous one was 3.0. So right now we can see that they have tied up. The actual and the previous have tied up, but considering that this is an official bank rate, deviating from 3.0 an increment to 3.5%, that is enough to make the market fall. But once these ones are equal, then you have a very big downtrend followed by a very big uptrend. So it kind of 50-50, and therefore you first enter the downtrend and the uptrends together. I'll be explaining more on how to use the calendar to make more profits. But this was just an introductory tutorial. I will put this link in the description such that you can go ahead and see where to get this. So it also has the details about the news. Once you click on this, you can really read details about the news. Its source: Bank of England measures interest rates, the bank leading blah blah. Then why traders care about this news. We shall also be going over all this in the next of course tutorial. Then also about the details, we also have the usual effect. A higher expected reading should be taken as a positive or bullish. So they anticipate, they also tell you which side to take or which trends to take, buy or sells when that news release particularly is out. So that said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and also check on my next video where we shall go into a deep analysis of the economic calendar and also how to use it to trade, and how to use it and enter live trades and make very big profits within just a small time. So thanks for watching. I'll put the link in the description. Make sure to check on it, subscribe to the channel, and also like the video. Thanks.